Hello and welcome to Americans Learn. My name is Lauren, and today I am going to be looking at a video by Mike Shake, I believe his name is. Oh no, we're starting out so great. Yes, Mike Shake. All of that is getting left in. Leaving it in. It's fine. It's good. We're watching Mike Shake's I built an insanely powerful slingshot. I like stuff like this, like weird little weapons and people having so much time on their hands, but also so much skill and technical ability that I could never even dream of. Also, I want to see what he can do with this slingshot. I want to see, is this how David took down Goliath? Yeah, I want to see it. I want to know what happened. So I just thought that this looked interesting. And if you want to see more stuff like this, go ahead and let me know. We can definitely incorporate that into the Rota. I'm looking forward to seeing this. I hope you are too. Let's begin.
Do you think it's a really powerful slingshot? How dangerous do you think is a really powerful slingshot?
Really dangerous.
How dangerous do you think is a really powerful slingshot? You'd be surprised. I definitely was. I'm talking about slingshots that generate more momentum than a .45 caliber firearm. And I'm not even saying that to be overdramatic.
Wow.
They actually tested it. And finding that out made me pretty upset. Because a few weeks ago, I made a video testing a bunch of slingshots, trying to find out how dangerous they are. And well, I used to love that video. And now I don't. Because it's completely inaccurate. All the slingshots I tested in that video are simply toys compared to the really powerful ones. And so, to redeem myself and actually answer the question, well, I'm gonna try to build one of the most powerful slingshots on the planet. A slingshot capable of ending anything in front of it and behind of it, compared to the best slingshot of the previous video, and then see what happens when I test it against a ballistic dummy. This?
I did like that though. And behind of it. Like, oh god, he almost died. Like, I'm glad he had the bulletproof vest, but Jesus.
It's the prototype I made for my custom slingshot, and I'm gonna explain the features of each component as I build them. Starting from the fork. This is where I'm gonna attach multiple elastic bands and throw massive steel bars with them. And so it needs to be really tough. If while pulling the bands, one of these two pieces broke, it would fly towards me like a bullet, and that, my friend, might be the end of the video. And the channel.
Yeah.
Sorry, mom. Well, to avoid that, I made a sandwich of materials that I'm gonna glue together to create the elements of the slingshot. The sandwich has a strong core to make it tough.
I love that he's calling it a sandwich.
I could have used aluminum,
amazing.
hardwood, or even steel. But I got a lot of polycarbonate laying around from a previous video, and since it's an incredibly tough material, I decided to go with this one.
Okay.
Then I prepared a few thin sheets of wood and also red acrylic to place on top of the polycarbonate. These are mainly there for aesthetic reasons, and the effect I would like to obtain is something like this.
Ooh.
Aim for the stars, they said. Anyways, to glue
it's so cute. I do, and obviously he makes it look pretty good. I just had some polycarbonate lying around because of course I did.
the layers.
Granted, you know what? I have some weird shit lying around from like old Halloween decorating projects and stuff. It's like, oh, you know what? I do have some, I mean, nothing like super serious, nothing like polycarbonate, but it was like, I do have some very odd fabric and some weird paints and I have some weird stuff because of various Halloween projects.
Together, I'm gonna use epoxy, which should work with all the layers of the sandwich. But just to be extra safe, I'm also sanding the surfaces of polycarbonate and acrylic so that the glue can form a stronger bond with them. So I'm pouring the two components of the glue into a cup. I mix them together for a while.
Looks like I'm cooking or something.
And then I'm spreading it evenly on each surface of the layers.
Was that Walter White in the background
I
there?
Or skip it evenly on each surface of the layers. The problem, in fact, I would like to obtain, I'm gonna use their bond with them. So I'm pouring the two components of the glue into a cup.
I just wanted to make sure of like, wait, who did I see? It was like Lethal Company, but I was like, no, wait.
Looks like I'm...
Yeah, he's cool. Yep. I was like, wait a minute. Hold up. I knew that he had like incorporated, I knew that they weren't really standing there, obviously, but like, I like that there's Walter White and Jesse in there.
Cooking or something.
And then I'm spreading it evenly on each surface of the layers. The problem is that I used way too much epoxy, and now the layers keep sliding on each other's. So now I'm panicking while trying to clamp everything down, worrying the layers are gonna get stuck in the wrong position and I'll have to throw everything away and lose another day starting from scratch. But it ended up working.
Wow.
I gotta wait 3 days. It's been 3 days. I'm gonna remove the clamps and see if it actually worked.
That is a
I had
lot.
a few doubts about this. One, are the clamps even gonna come out? And yes, they do. Kind of.
Eventually.
2. Did the epoxy dry and are the layers fixed in place? Also yes, it feels pretty solid. And 3. How strong is the connection between the layers? Well, either the resin is really strong, or I am really weak, but the reality is that there is not an answer for this one right now. I just gotta hope for the best and see what happens when I test it. The next step is cropping the shape of fork, handle, and arm brace out of the sandwich block. To do that, I'm using a bandsaw, and after the first cut, I'm happy to see that there is no gap between the layers, which is definitely a good sign. And so I'm trying to cut all the elements, following their shapes as best as I can.
Oof, and I never ever tried to do anything crazy like that with a bandsaw. Just straight through, just straight pieces of wood, only straight pieces.
And it took me about 40 minutes, but here they are. Fork, handle, and arm brace, or at least the raw shape of them. Now I'm gonna use the belt grinder to smooth out the edges and the surfaces, starting with the fork. Right now it's definitely thick, but the idea is to grind it in a way that it's gonna make the pattern come out. The problem is that I massively underestimated this step and massively overestimated my skills. And after 30 minutes of absolute random grinding... Alright, I completely messed up.
Oh no! Ooh. Yeah,
No,
sorry, man.
It doesn't look bad. It's just modern art and you don't understand it. I'm joking.
Yes.
So I'm gonna make a simpler and better one. The good news is that with a spare fork, I can test how tough it is.
Oh, good. You know, like Bob Ross says, there are only happy accidents, right? No mistakes, just happy accidents.
It's perfect. So I prepared new layers, glued them with epoxy, weighted, cropped, smoothed the edges, grinded, being extra careful to not mess it up again. And now I'm back to where I stopped. Next, I'm using this fascinating machine to smooth the edges. And honestly, I started to get pretty excited.
Is that what that is? A router?
And this is how I started to get pretty excited. Being extra careful to not mess it up again. And now I'm back to where I stopped. Next,
it kind of looks a little bit like a batarang, not gonna lie.
I'm using this fascinating machine to smooth the edges. And honestly, I started to get pretty excited. And this is how the fork looks now. I swear I'm so proud. Now I need to sand it, then polish it to make the wood shiny and the polycarbonate transparent. And then I'm gonna do the handle and the arm brace basically the same way. I didn't even finish the fork, and I'm already thinking about when this thing is gonna be done and when I'm gonna be able to test it.
That sounds like
Before that though, I need to sand it. And I already know sanding is gonna take a while. I need to go from a 2200 grit sandpaper to 1000 grit sandpaper. So I'm gonna just skip this process. But while my slightly younger self suffers for the next 5 hours.
See, this is when you do something like this. This is when you put on Netflix, right? This is when you start watching whatever TV show it is that everyone said you should watch and you never actually watched. This is busy work. Like, this is why I do stuff. So it's also the reason that I never finish any shows ever. Because I tend to do I only watch TV, well, for work, but also like if I am doing some kind of project. So, and then that television show is kind of forever linked to the project in my mind. So like I was watching Only Murders in the Building, for instance, and I got through all but the last 2 episodes of season 1. This is a bit ago. And then I finished the Halloween project that I was working on. I finished all the decorations, all the painting, and everything was done. So I didn't finish the TV show until the next year when I had another Halloween project. Like, it's so bad. But again, other people aren't like that. Other people have more normal TV watching habits. I'm just saying, when you're doing stuff like boring stuff like sanding, it's like you're just sitting there forever. That was a horrible, don't clip that. Don't cut that part at all. But when you're just, that's the time when you put on television. That way you're just not just sitting there in boredom for 5 hours.
I want to thank Displate for supporting this project. And yes,
Displate,
that thing moves. I just finished the workshop and I wanted to personalize it a little bit. So I picked a few posters and they just arrived. And they looked good from their website, but seeing them in person, it actually got me excited. This is insane.
That is moving a lot.
It's so cool. Spyro. I used to play this with my sister on our PS1 when we were kids.
Aww.
She's about to have a baby now. I love it. The posters feel high quality and sturdy. Let me try to zoom in. and the clarity on the images is really good. Displate also just launched a new product called Displate Textra, which basically gives extra clarity to the images by having a 3D texture on the posters. Hanging the posters is also
cool.
intuitive and fast.
I want Displate. I really would like some of them. They do seem very expensive, so it's like it would have to be something that I really, really want. Also, I currently don't have space for it. My poster wall is rather impressive, not gonna lie. Both poster walls. I have 2 of them. I maybe have a problem.
And this plate gives you all the tools you need. Wipe the wall, stick the protective leaf, stick the magnet to the leaf. I'm using a 3D one, but I also have it flat.
And that's it, basically.
Took me like 4 minutes to set up 3 posters. There are over 2 million artworks available in the Displate
So
catalog.
cool.
And you can pick from original art or licensed design like Star Wars, Marvel, Elden Ring, or Dune. I wish I got that one actually.
You can also get them right now by going to displate.com/MikeShake or use my promo code MikeShake and you'll get a really nice discount.
I'm also leaving a link in the description if you want to check them out at the end of the video. Anyways, 5 hours later, the sanding was completed.
That'll be-
Then I used an
The link to his video will be in the description of my video.
improvised buffing machine to
If you
polish
want.
the polycarbonate. And after grinding a little slot where I'm gonna attach the elastic bands, I finished the fork using linseed oil and wax. And here it is. I really like how it turned out.
Beautiful.
But maybe it's just because I made it. Kinda like my
No,
mom
it's
that likes me
beautiful.
regardless. Well, for sure it's
my
better
mom.
than the last one. It's also pretty big. This is how it looks compared to a normal slingshot, but it should fit well the kind of power I'm going for.
Alright, I'm gonna make the handle and the arm brace.
And so I did it all over again for the arm brace, which luckily took much less compared to the fork, thanks to this simpler shape. And
Yeah,
after sanding it,
the handle's
this is
gonna
how it
take a
looks.
million years.
Now the last element I need to make
It looks
is
so
the
cool.
handle. Aside from smoothing out the edges, I'm trying to grind the handle to make it fit perfectly with my hand. So I keep grinding and testing it, then adjusting it based on how it feels. And after completing the rough shape, I spent a few hours sanding it by hand to smooth out the curves as much as
It's
possible.
amazing. Like,
as
and
the
it's
last
super,
step, I'm
super
applying the
customized,
oil
which is
as I did
great,
with the
but
previous
no one else could use this.
elements. This is how the final handle looks.
It looks so
and
cool.
I like it.
I
But
keep
most
saying that.
importantly, it feels very comfortable, and I can't wait to test this thing.
Ah,
Like that,
it's so
all the elements are done. Now I can put them together with the main frame, and then I'm gonna test it against the targets. My custom slingshot increases the draw length compared to a normal one.
We're gonna have to do the same drinking game rules that I do for the Warhammer videos. Whenever I say, it's so cool, you have to take a drink. You'd be dead. You're dead in this video already.
Basically, how far I can stretch the bands before releasing them. And with more elastic mass, the power increases exponentially. So to connect all the elements together, I'm gonna use this steel profile. I need to cut it a little bit first. I'm not exactly sure how long should I make this frame though. The longer, the better, but I need to be able to use it. So I'm just measuring the distance between arm brace and handle, and based on that, I ended up using another profile I had in the shop.
I'm just gonna use the other one instead.
1 meter. And if this version ends up being too weak, I'm gonna use the longer stick to make an even more extreme version.
For that reason, I also want all the elements to be removable from the main frame. And so,
cool.
to
Right,
connect
makes
them to the
sense.
frame, I thought about using steel brackets. I'm not sure if this is the best way to do it though. If I'm making a mistake, let me know right now, so that I can stop before this thing flies to
Yeah, do some psychic powers. Psychic powers activate. You're making a mistake. I have no idea if he's making a mistake. Again, my technical ability is very, very, very limited. And, like, I mean, I've built sets and stuff before, but that wasn't just me. And we had someone telling us what to do. And it mostly involved, you know, me just drilling where I was told to drill or sawing what I was told to saw. Like, it has, like, I don't know.
towards me when I test it.
Alright?
He has
If I
beautiful
die,
hair.
it's your fault.
So I cleaned up the
By the way, sorry, that was totally irrelevant, but like, I was just looking, I was like, yes, he has beautiful hair.
profile using the belt
And a beautiful
grinder.
face.
And then I sanded by hand, fixing the mistakes I made on the belt grinder. One day, I'm gonna learn how to use this thing. But today is not that day.
One day.
Anyways, this is how the steel profile ended up looking. Now, to connect the brackets to the frame, I'm drilling 3 holes of 5mm into the steel profile. Basically like this. After that, I can install the brackets, in which I'm gonna place the fork. I actually also mounted 2 brackets at the end of the steel bar, so that this way I can connect the arm brace to one end of the profile,
Oh, I just want to say real quick, speaking of my technical inefficiencies, and this is partly the fault of my wall. My room is like an addition and there's like no studs and it sucks. My curtain rod that I installed a few months ago just utterly collapsed on itself, and I knew it was shit anyway. But like my wall does not, and none of the walls, and all the walls in my apartment are like this. Like they're all terrible. They do not hold screws very well. And it was fine for a while, but now I just have the curtain. And again, I wanted the curtain rod because I wanted to be able to open and close the blinds. And now, once again, the curtains are just thumbtacked up. Like, because the curtain rod, bro, I can't. Ugh. Sorry, I am looking currently at the curtain rod, and it's so sad. It's so broken. Cry.
The fork to the other. Through that though, I also need to drill a few holes into the elements. And this step is kinda scary, because the acrylic could shatter in the process, and that would mean starting from scratch. So to avoid that, I'm using a special bit that should work both with plastic and wood. Then I started drilling 3 holes into the fork. This process took me like 30 minutes. I went very, very slow to avoid damaging the layers. And I think it kinda worked. At this point, I can insert the balls that I actually grinded to make them look nicer. That would be so stressful. And I also added 3 rubber spacers, since the back of the wood is not perfectly flat. And I hope this will help distribute the pressure.
I think it works. Yes.
I believe it looks pretty good.
I like how excited he is.
But the best part is not even the look. What surprised me the most is how premium it feels, given
it looks
who built it. It doesn't wobble at all. It doesn't make noises, and it feels very sturdy. Now I'm repeating the process to install the arm brace, and this is how it looks on the profile. And seeing it like that makes me pretty confident this thing is gonna crush bones. Hopefully not mine. Anyways, only the handle is missing at this point. And I'm not exactly sure what's the best way to connect this one. And so, I'm doing the first thing I thought about. I'm drilling a big hole into the handle. And my plan is to glue a steel rod into it, so that then I can easily mount it to the frame. To glue the rod, I'm using a fast drying glue that should work well with polycarb. That wasn't a crack, it was air coming out of the handle. Now there is one last detail I need to add to the handle. The bolts on the fork and the arm brace basically act as pins, providing extra strength to keep the layers together. And since the handle doesn't have those, I decided to add 4 small bolts to it. They don't compromise the comfort, and this way I'm sure the layers are gonna stay together even if I drop it. And to mention the words of a wise German man I'm gonna introduce in a bit, it's not ugly, it's effective. And now
it is not ugly, or I mean, I'm sure it's effective, but it isn't ugly.
Distribute the stress between the handle and the frame, and like that, the
Also, you can put like put a little jewel or something. You can bedazzle those if you're worried about the look and you think it looks weird. I don't think it looks weird. I think it's fine, but like you can put a little, you can do something to it.
Some slingshot is ready. I really believe this could be up there with the most powerful slingshots in the world. But I guess I'm gonna find out soon when I test it. I don't know if I should be excited or scared.
Both.
I'm excited though. But the reason why I picked this design over some crazier ones ahead is pretty fascinating. It looks fairly simple, but this design should be the most powerful one you can make for a handheld slingshot. And the reason why I know that is this man.
Hello and welcome to the Slingshot channel.
While checking the comments in my previous Slingshot video, I saw this one that threw me right into the rabbit hole that actually made me start this project. Jörg is a German god, right on top of the Slingshot food chain, and he set a world record of 135 joules with a 25mm steel ball. And just to clarify, 135 joules is closer to a small firearm in terms of power than it is to a normal slingshot. And since I don't have much experience with slingshots, and most importantly, I'm not German, I reached out to him.
That is
he actually replied. Jörg gave me a lot of valuable information that allowed me to get to this point.
Wow.
And most importantly,
good job.
He made me realize that there is a serious risk involved in what I'm about to do. And he also suggested me to scrap all my other designs, besides this one I built. And it's basically a new version of the Starship, which is the slingshot he used to set the world record. And so, now I can install the bands, and then I'm gonna test it. The size and the number of layers you need depends on the weight of the ammo you're using. Heavier ammo require more bands, which are much harder to pull, but they also generate more power. So to find out the dimensions of the bands I need for all the balls I'm gonna test, I'm using an equation that York created. Basically, based on the weight of the ammo you use...
York's over there inventing math, and I'm here watching.
and the draw length.
What are you doing with your life?
The dimension and the number of bands you need. And to find my draw length, I measure my draw length with a normal slingshot. Have no idea if this is the right way to do it. And I added the extra length of the frame. And with that, I got a total of 198 centimeters, which is a lot, but I'm using a smaller one to be conservative. For maximum performance, bands also need to be tapered. Basically, they need to be larger towards the fork and smaller towards the pouch.
Okay.
This allows the ammo to accelerate faster, and therefore increase the speed and the power. After that, I can attach the bands to the pouch. And the process is pretty straightforward, for the most part of it.
Otherwise, the friction causes the knot to get all messed up and you can actually just break the elastic.
And here is how they look. At this point, I can attach the bands to the slingshot.
Okay.
And like that, the build is finally completed.
Don't fall over!
And so now, there is only the fun and potentially lethal step left. Alright then.
I mean, are you really having fun if what you're doing isn't potentially lethal? I'm just saying. I'm thinking about the things I do for fun, and like 2 of those things are swords and softball, both of which can get seriously injured. Both of them are a lot of fun.
Now, before risking my life with the massive balls, I want to find out if my custom slingshot, well, if it works, and also if it's actually more powerful than the ones I tested in my old video. And so, I'm gonna gradually increase the dimension of the ammo and the number of bands. And I'm gonna measure energy, penetration, and damage for each one of them.
Yeah, be safe.
I feel like a juggernaut. I know you're probably thinking it's maybe too much for this small ammo. I'm actually worried it's not gonna be enough. But I guess there is only one way to find out. And well, it turns out that this thing works pretty well. 125! Wow. Yeah, it's fast. Out of 5 shots, the best one I got is 130 meters a second or 426 feet per second.
Wow.
And if you consider that a 9mm bullet travels at around 1200 feet per second, that's a lot. So with the 8mm steel ball, the custom slingshot generates 1.6 times more energy than my best old one. This is the weakest setup I'm gonna test, and it already broke the catch box behind the wooden panel. I also tested a different brand of rubber, but I got very similar results. So now it's time for the second test with the 8mm ball. Penetration. And then my first shot, the ball went on the side of the gelatin block. And I actually thought it was a fluke. No. Because it went way too deep. Oh, no way. Jeez. But then when I tried again, the second shot was perfectly in the middle, and it went deeper than the first. If we
compare those look so cool.
Slingshots compared to this one, this is insane. The old slingshots are also not lethal with an 8mm ball. But given this penetration...
Yeah, you dead.
Do you think it's gonna be lethal?
I mean,
8mm
you'd
ball,
be in a lot of
test
trouble.
number 3, damage. And so I stretched the bands as much as I could, and I shot. No way. At first, I thought the ball actually cracked the skull. But then I saw it. It stopped. The ball went into the gelatin, but it stopped on the skull.
That's what skulls are for.
Also, what's wrong with your nose, man? I didn't notice that. Anyways, this slingshot is already more impressive than the ones I tested in my old video. And this is literally the weakest
He's done a little bit of too much damage to this poor guy.
So, I'm very curious to see what's gonna happen with the big balls. But in the meantime, these are all the results I got with the smallest one. Next, I'm shooting 10mm steel balls. And to shoot them, I'm gonna use a double layer setup. Basically, 2 bands per side. And I was expecting the 10mm balls to be significantly slower compared to the previous ones. But the speed actually didn't drop very much. 119.1. That's a lot. Out of 5 shots, the best one I got was 124.4 meters a second. Which gives it a big bump in terms of power. And my poor catch box knows something about it. Test number 2, penetration. So I was expecting bigger balls to have less penetration power. But it almost went through. With a 10mm steel ball, I got a penetration of 13.9 centimeters.
Oh my god.
Before trying the ballistic dummy, I also want to shoot a few different targets. This is not part of the official test, and I could
Just for
totally
fun.
avoid it, but I won't. So I shot a
want to.
watermelon,
Yay!
then a coconut, which is
Dang.
pretty hard, but it still went straight through, and then a soda
Wow.
can.
That was a good aim.
And at
Good
this
shot.
point, I'm kind of thinking this might be lethal already.
All right. Nope. Wait, what is that?
Oops. Nope.
That was...
Anticlimactic.
I mean, that would kill you
I'm
regardless.
not exactly sure if he bounced on the bone or he just went straight there. Either way, I'm gonna try again, aiming at the forehead.
Yeah. Don't try and shoot him in the eye. That'll kill anybody. It just wants the bee in the eyes.
Went once again, perfect.
He's got just like, boom, boom. Wow. You really hate this guy, huh?
Inside the eye. In the other one.
He just gave him little eyes.
Come on.
Gave him pupils.
I'm gonna try to hit it again.
But once again, it didn't crack.
So I think the balls were just bouncing off the bones.
Anyways, these are all the results I got for the 10mm steel balls.
And now it gets scary.
20mm lead balls. Like, these are the bands I just used.
Oh my god.
And these are the bands I'm gonna use now. 3 huge flat bands per side. And for this
Wow.
one, I also had to build a bigger pouch.
I'm scared. For the first time since I started testing this thing, now I'm actually scared.
As a disclaimer, I don't think this is wise. I don't think this is safe. And I don't think it's gonna be enjoyable to use a monster like that. But I just wanna go for it. This is how it looks
It's
with the flat
science.
bands connected to it. And with that, I'm ready to try it.
Oh
kind
my
of.
god.
And well, as expected, these bands are way harder to pull compared to the previous ones. But even though this setup highlights my core technique, and the lead ball actively tried to kill me,
Yes.
it was actually working pretty well.
How much was that? 57.9.
And that means 79.3 joules of energy, which is a lot. Still, I
Wow.
want to keep trying for 2 reasons. First, because I know I can top my previous speed. I just need to develop a slightly decent technique and build up confidence. And second, because I'm kinda loving the distraction this thing is
Yeah,
able to
right?
generate. And I
Wang!
can't
Hey.
wait to test it against the targets. But then, I made a mistake. Somebody
no.
said that if you run when you can't walk, you'll probably fall. And that was the sound of the steel ball hitting the fork.
I broke it.
Oh no!
Yeah. I broke the fork.
Oh.
Bad one.
This has been a very unfortunate turn of events. I got an allergy reaction. It's pouring and it wasn't even supposed to rain. My slingshot broke. On the other side though, I'm still alive. And most importantly though, the polycarbonate is
The
very
fork
tough
saved
to
you.
build. It doesn't even have a scratch on it. And so I found a temporary
okay.
fix so that I can keep using it. You know, it is what
Okay.
it is. It just lived long enough to become the villain. So I'm gonna just wait for the sun and then I'm gonna finish the test.
Wait for
How's it going,
the
guys?
sun.
Today's tomorrow and sun
Oh my
shines.
god, his hair is so fluffy! Mike, tell me your hair secrets. Tell them to me.
Now you know why that happened.
By watching the slow motion of the incident, I realized that I pushed down my hand right before releasing the pouch. And well, I just gotta try avoid doing that again. I also just built a much deeper armrest, since the helmet sticking out made it kinda hard to stretch the bands comfortably.
Alright then. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna just try to stretch this as much as I can. So if you hear weird noises, that's why.
Okay.
And so I wanted to measure the energy once again. And after shooting at the target a few times, I actually topped the previous result.
59.6! 59.6!
Dang.
Yes, that's better!
That is 84.1 joules. That's good, depending on which side you play for.
I think I could actually get more than that with a better technique and more practice. But I'll take it. Let's do the penetration test.
For this test, and also the next ones, I'm gonna be using the black bands. The yellow ones keep breaking, and these perform as well while being more durable. I also removed the wood and the acrylic from the back of the fork, and I installed the new brackets.
Do you think it's gonna
Okay.
go more or less in than the small ones?
I don't even
Well,
know.
none of that happened.
Oh my god! Did you see that?
No.
Jeez, this was the best investment ever!
The ammo basically bounced on the surface of the gelatin and came flying back towards me. That would have hurt. Anyways, before shooting the ballistic dummy, I tested the damage against a few targets. And I missed the first shot, throwing the ball in the air, and I have no idea where it went.
Oh no!
But with the second shot, I got it.
Oh my god!
So, it's time for the final test. Damage. And I really have no idea what to expect. But I guess, let's find out.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Let me show you. You went through the nose. Oh my god.
And he cracked the bomb below it.
You see that? Ready?
So then I shot again, trying to aim a little higher.
Right in the
And
eye.
once
He
again,
likes that
the
eye
ammo
socket.
penetrated, and it shattered the bone around.
Terrifying, though. Like, if someone's trying to aim here, but they keep getting right here, you're dead if they get in your
The
eye.
eye.
So I want to try to shoot another one on the forehead and see what happens.
And well, this time, I actually hit the forehead. So, I guess this thing is very dangerous.
Oh
That was
my
my
God.
honest reaction while that thing was filling up. Nothing. I did nothing. Now that the liquid is gone, it's pretty clear to see what happened. The ammo went straight through the forehead, and it
Oh
actually
my
almost
God.
came out from the back of the head. These are all the results for the 20mm lead ball.
And so, to answer the question, how dangerous is a slingshot? I guess it depends on the slingshot.
I'm gonna fix this slingshot and paint it, and I'll post the final version on Instagram. Follow me there if you wanna see it, along with updates on the next videos. I'm gonna keep making cool
he's the
things like this
transparent
one. So if
katana
you like
guy.
this video, consider subscribing and check another one.
Okay. I had wanted to watch the transparent katana video. I'm gonna sneeze. I had wanted to watch that. That was one that I looked at before and I thought looked really, really cool, and I didn't actually watch it. So, I want to. I liked him. He was fun. He was funny, informative. I appreciated the step-by-step, everything. So if you want to see more stuff from him, let me know. And if you don't tell me. 'Cause I'm gonna. That's what I've decided. It's my channel. I can do what I want. I'm gonna get real aggressive with y'all now. So sorry. Oh, wow. Okay, I hope you liked that. Like, I feel like a lot of these science-y kind of videos, they just don't do as well as I think they should. These are really cool things that these people do. Very, very interesting. Very cool. I really hope that y'all watch this. Watch it, please. Anyway, thank you so much for, if y'all are here, much obliged. Don't forget to hit that like button, leave a comment. If you want to support the channel monetarily, you could join as a channel member or leave a super thanks. That helps. If you want to go support him, I support that. So the link for his video is going to be in the description below, and also in the description box below are links to our other channels. Chicago Reacts, we discuss a lot of like more gaming stuff. There's some more stuff like this on that channel from channels like Kentucky Ballistics, and I think we've got some stuff from like the Slow Mo guys. So we've got some other stuff similar to this on that channel. And you can check out our anime channel as well. And we have lots of stuff. So thanks so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next one.